Hi guys, I'm going to do a problem, next problem from section 7.1, assessment A again. We have next problem number 5. Let me do part A first and then I'll do maybe another one. So number 5, let me read the question. It says, write each of the following terminating decimal as a A over B in a simplest form. Okay? So we want to write, now I'm sure you know what terminating decimal means. Of course, it means the digits will terminate. So it's not going to continue. Like if you look at 1/3, for example, as you know, that's 0.333. It's going to go forever. So this is what's called non-terminating because it doesn't terminate. But if you look at something like 1/2, this is terminating because the last digit is 5 and it doesn't continue forever. So anyway, so that's what we call terminating decimal. So what they want us to do in number 5, it says to write each of the following terminating decimal as a fraction, basically, A over B, and of course, as always, reduce your fraction. So he wants A over B in the simplest form. Okay, let me take the first one. It's actually a pretty straight shot. So we have part A, we have 0.436. 436. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, of course, is, remember we talked about this in last video, that this means the same thing as 436,000th, because of course the 6 sits in the 1,000th place. Remember again, 10th, 100,000. So we're going to actually write it exactly as what it is, which is 436 over 1,000. Because remember, when you divide by a power of 10, it moves the decimal point that many places to the left. So if you move 1, 2, 3, there's your decimal point, okay? Or you can just read it as 436,000 because it's over 1,000. So anyway, so that digit tells you what power of 10. Because it's in thousandths place, you just write the number over 1,000. If this was 0.43, that'll be 4,300th because that'll be in 100th place. Anyway, so now all you got to do is there's your fraction. You just have to reduce it. So I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm just going to say real quick, remember when the reduce a fraction, you find the GCD. In this case, of course, GCD of these two numbers, 436 and 1,000, is 4, which means the biggest factor they have is 4. So if you reduce it by 4, 436 divided by 4 becomes 109. In other words, 19 times 4 is 436. And also 1,000 is 4 times 250 times 4 is 1,000. So as you can see, their biggest common factor is 4. So as you reduce it by cancel the 4s, you basically end up with final answer as 109 over 250. Okay, and there it is. So there is your fraction representing the same terminating decimal, and of course in reduced form. Let me do one more real quick. I'm going to do part C. Same problem, number 5, part C, okay? This number is written as negative 316.027. Okay, so we want to write this number negative 316 and 27 thousandth. Once again, because the 7 is in thousandth place, 10th, 100th, 1,000. So we're just going to write that again as we read it, which is negative 316. We're just going to put the number 027 because it's in thousandth. It's going to be again over 1,000. So, and actually it just happened that these two numbers, even though they're very big, they have no common factor. So their GCD is 1. They are relatively prime. So therefore, in this case, this will be your final answer. So negative 316,027 over 1,000 is the fraction form of this terminating decimal number. Okay? So let me see if I can do one more from number 6. So this was number 5. I may be able to squeeze this one in this video also. So number 6, part A. Again, same section, assessment A. So number 6 says says mentally determine which of the following can be represented as a terminating decimal. So they're giving you a fraction. They want to know which one can represent a terminating decimal. So as you change it to decimal, it terminates, right? It doesn't repeat. So the easiest way to see that, there is a rule actually in the section that says a number is going to be represented as a terminating decimal if you look at its denominator and look at its prime factorization, it can only include number 2 or 5. So it has to have only 2 or 5 in there, right? If any other any other factor appears in the prime factorization of the bottom, it is not going to be terminating a decimal, okay? So let me put the example real quick and then we check it. So for example, the first one is 4/5. So this is going to be terminating because the denominator only has, of course, factor 5, which is what the rule says. As long as the bottom only has prime factors 5 or 2, then that's going to be, so we say yes, this is going to be terminating. Let me just do one more. Again, number 6, part E. This one says 4/34. Okay, now this is going to be no because 34, as you know, does have another factor that is not 2 or 5, which happened to be 2 times 17. So 17 is a prime, but it's not 2 or 5. And so in this case, that is not going to be a terminating decimal because the bottom is supposed to have only 2 or 5 as a factor. So if there's any other factor except 2 or 5, then it cannot be a terminating decimal. Okay, I hope that helps.